Hey, Dr. Butler here. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about your health today. Just had a day of seeing patients and wanted to give you a little bit of overview of some concepts that I've been thinking about over this week, just with regards to your individual health and your ability to have a sense of awareness of where you can be starting to work on yourself, both from a physical standpoint, an emotional, mental standpoint, and a spiritual standpoint. I had an opportunity to talk with a patient. Thank you, Susan, for a little bit, and went over some principles that she encouraged me to speak about. So I thought I'd share those with you. So, obviously, in light of everything that's going on right now, I'm a big believer in the concept of the universe giving us states of opportunity to work on ourselves, to work on our level of thinking, to work on our physical bodies. When adversity presents itself, again, it is a great time to use it as a catalyst of, of awareness and of increasing our our questioning of our choices and how that plays out into the we'll say the reality of what we want or of what we're getting. So when we're looking at developing an idea of what we would like to occur in our lives or what we would like to have in our lives, sometimes that effort put into that comes mostly within the idea of the mind, of the thought, of the spiritual, we'll say, awakening. And not a lot of awareness is put on the body in that formula when we are thinking about this, again, effort of motion and of movement. So I was once told by, or actually I read it in his book, there's a naturopath named Moshe Block, that you have a soul, you have a mind, you have emotion, and you have a body. So these kind of like maybe four tiers of where the energy flows, where health flows. I always like to believe that health flows from that top down. So from that soul into the mind, through the emotional medium, and then into the body. And sometimes when we try to take an understanding of where the most power is, where the most, let's say, levels of attraction are, I mean, obviously we get into that soul mind world and we do a lot of state of, work on that, and the emphasis is put on that. And I think, to a degree, rightfully so, because that is where the power is. But the body is often disregarded. It's almost sometimes I feel like so many people are not in body. They don't feel their body. They feel at odds with their body. And this obviously plays into our cultural tendencies and kind of a lot of emphasis put on appearance and put on capacity of the body. But you have to understand that the world that we are in is a body world. There's that I like to think it was a popular saying. We're just physical beings. We're spiritual beings living a physical experience, and sometimes again we miss the importance of the physicality in our work to ascend through that emotional state into the mind state and the thinking in our eventual quest, I believe, to manifest states of spirituality. So this gets back down to, again, the body. What is your body doing? What is it telling you? What are the routines that you are showing up to each day to work on with your self-care, with regards to your nutrition, with your movement, with your elimination, with your breathing, with your sleeping, with your hydration? I mean, these are not, as I like to say, sexy things. They're not very exciting. It's much more exciting to be talking about spiritual potential, the influence that our thinking has on the world around us, much more attractive things than talking about, like, are you going to bed at 10 o'clock or before? Are you maintaining an adequate state of hydration? Are you eating regularly to stabilize your blood sugar? Are you removing um, and starting to change your relationship with the choices that you make around your nutrition? I mean, it is becoming, I have to think of the right word, but I mean, I have lots of love for people, for my patients, but just the naive state of awareness around the power of the choice that we make day in and day out with what we decide to put into our bodies has such a profound and significant influence on this body foundation, that it's unfortunate, really, that we do not state the importance and relevance of the nutritional part of our world. I mean, we get caught up in diets, and we get caught up in weight loss, and we get caught up in, terming the diet keto, paleo, South Beach, what, all these different terms we put on things through the years. But it's an encouragement to remind you that there is an essential way of nourishing your body through using food. And if you're unaware of that, become educated with it. If you need help, ask for help. Understand the power and relevance, and please do not downplay it. I mean, it's so easy for us to be like, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's not a big deal. It's absolutely a big deal. Every choice you make is a huge deal with regards to what will occur within your environment. The choices that you make, whether it's nutritionally, what you decide to do, as I mentioned, with your sleep routine, with your movement. Are you moving every day? Are you working on routines of conscious breathing every day? Or, as I mentioned, are you maintaining hydration? Are you doing hydrotherapy? Are you doing dry skin brushing, castor oil packs, these lymphatic stimulators? Are you doing these therapeutics to stimulate the health of this physical body, to provide the foundation? Remember, it's at the bottom of soul, mind, emotion, body is at that bottom. If you do not have a strong foundation, you will teeter. You will think you have a solid state of awareness, but it's sitting on this pinnacle of motion that, as long as it's there, you're good. If you get too much influence in your level of thinking, or things challenge your states of thinking, it's going to start tipping. When that body is solid and vital, it's going to give you, as I mentioned, the foundation to really push on your level of thinking, emotionally, mindfully, and spiritually. And you can do tremendous work with that. I like to say you can have fun with it. You can play with the potential and the possibility of how you choose to look, at beauty and at suffering. But please keep in mind, your body is just as relevant in that formula as is the other aspects, and almost more so when first starting out, or even when working to cultivate and make a greater potential for yourself to explore into your levels of thinking. Keep in mind your body. Work on it daily. Work on your self-care routine. It's vital. It's essential. It's very, very important. Don't discredit it. Try it on. Wear it around. See how it works for you. And as I mentioned, thanks again for taking the time to learn more about your health. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.